This week's scenario is incoming. It does not have the kill box artifice in effect and consists of two zones, one friendly zone that can be dominated for 1 CP, and an enemy zone that can be controlled for 1 CP and dominated for 2 CPs. Each player has a friendly objective which can be destroyed by your opponent for 1 CP. The objectives consist of defense 5, armor 18, and 15 health boxes and have firepower. While the objective is not contested by an enemy model, ranged weapons with light artillery rule within 4 inches of this model gain boosted damage rolls.
Hey everyone, this is Polar Bear Cub. So for this week, I'm playing Convergence of Cyriss. The main thought behind this list with 5 Lucant is that the Prime Axiom is really just there, kind of just to run up and to really be a big heavy hitter and also take a lot of damage. Armor 24 on the feet turn. It's he's gonna be able to take a lot and not really die. Also with the 2 units of Optifex Directives right behind him to heal him back up. The Enigma Foundry is there to bring back both the small and the medium base units, just to really keep that awesome recursion mechanic that is the Convergence of Cyriss.
Howdy folks, tonight playing a challenge list. A buddy of mine said they needed a list with Zaal in it. So here it is. I didn't have all my stuff, so I had to borrow some models. This is the first time I've been able to play Tyrant Zaadesh, our new little journeyman warcaster dude. I gave him a whole pile of Reptile Hounds. We'll see how this turns out. I got bad feelings about this. I won the roll, decided to go first. I'm just going to try to jam both zones as best I can. He has a big giant dude over there and some bad terrain on his left, my right, and an obstacle and an objective in front of him. If he moves his infantry up first, he might have a tough time maneuvering his big robot dude into my army. With that in mind, I'm going to put my Nihilators on the right and run at his guys, and hopefully I can get some acid corrosion on the construct dudes with my slingers. I'm going to have Zaadesh with his horde of puppies sitting back behind my lines waiting to hit whatever they can. Hopefully they'll get on Prime Axiom to be bloody if I can get them onto something.
Alright, so for my Convergence deployment, Prime Axiom right in the center, and that's really just so he can kind of go either way to get up the field to get into the deployment zone. I put my medium base units right next to the zone that was closest towards me, and my thought was just to use them to really hold the line. My obstructors are on the left-hand side on the away zone, really because I wasn't too sure how much he would throw out there. I saw the Nihilators and I thought the obstructors with an Enigma Foundry could do a lot of work to really remove a lot of the Nihilators. Both my Enigma Foundries are pretty close to Prime Axiom, and that is for, the 2 models that he has that could really get distance to the Enigma Foundries. I want to make sure they're well protected with the shield guard ability that Lucant provides for all of my jacks. And then finally, I also put the Optifex Directives right behind the Prime Axiom.
And we're off. I'm just going to run the Nihilators up here, set them up to contest the zone for the next turn. I think those dudes are in front of me. They're ones that ignore the shield wall. I don't know anything in his list. I know the big Prime Axiom. I know his name. That's about it. I know he's got Father Lucant. Lucant makes it pretty rough to hurt any of his stuff. Especially with shooting. I've got 2 raiders, and that was my plan, was to shoot stuff down from distance while I chop stuff up with Nihilators and Last Stand and splash corrosion damage, but I'm not sure how that's going to work. Got a Brute. It's up in the center of the army. He's going to keep any shooting off of a car. Or some shooting off a car, I guess, is about it. I'm just running pretty much most of my army forward. I'm going to fill up the Agonizer here in a minute when Zaal goes. I'm not sure that the Agonizer is going to get much work done here. He has too much nasty shooting and then too many infantry units with reach that can get to the Agonizer if I get him too far forward. Gonna paralytic aura the Krea and charge that big jack across the table over there so I can get him in there and get a bunch of stuff under paralytic aura. My opponent looks pretty happy over there. I'm not sure. Puppies are going to move to almost into the zone. Next turn they're going to move toward the back end of that zone on the left if he doesn't do anything surprising. It's always a pleasure playing with my opponent, PG Polar Bear Cub. Even when he plays these stupid COC dudes, I'm not a big fan of them. I don't know what any of their stuff does. Got an army of Slingers coming up with vengeance in their minds behind my line here.
Alright, so for my first turn of the game, it's pretty simple. I put one focus on my Inverter, pretty standard for Convergence, only putting out one focus point, and then I began my turn afterwards. Really for almost the entire turn, I ran almost my entire army up. So while my army is moving up, I just want to talk a little bit about huge bases for a second. I know it's been said a lot that, you know, huge bases, they're big. They cause a lot of problems, especially really for, you know, just getting stuff out there, and then you know, when there's either walls in the way or even in this case there was an objective in the way, it caused a lot of problems with, you know, getting the model out there, really getting the model ahead. It was easy, very easy actually, to get him trapped behind that objective and not able to move, especially if you're playing against an opponent that has a very fast army. That could really capitalize on kind of pushing your Colossal to not get into the game. That caused a lot of problems with, you know, controlling zones, as well as really allowing him to get into the fight, because if they're able to clog up the Colossal with your other units, so your Colossal really can't get into it, it's a big waste of 19 points. So that was my 2 cents on a Colossal. So for the first turn, actually my prime Axiom, he walked up and he tried to take some ancillary spike shots at the Nihilators. After taking the multiple shots, I was able to remove one from the beginning, and I was just rolling 2 dice for all but the first one, so removing one model from the very beginning is always nice. It did mean I was not able to run him, which I was okay with because I did block him out of any running space. And then finally, right towards the end, I activated my Optifex directives. They walked up. I activated the Corollary. He was too far away to get a focus point from the Inverter, from the Prime Axiom. Finally, I activated Lucant, and he casted Watcher on himself, as well as Deceleration.
Well, I lived through that turn. Only lost a couple of guys. Gonna move Hakaar's Vengeance move. he might be able to get into here and do some dirt, and then maybe spawn a Kovaas. Got last stand up still on the Nihilators. I'm going to use the soul that Marketh picked up last turn and upkeep last stand for free, basically. Charge these guys. The first one didn't make it in, so I'm just going to run all the rest of them. Actually, one of them did make it in. I'm just going to run all the rest of them. Just try to block up stuff, keep him on his side of the table, keep him honest. That might be hard to do with Polar Bear Cub. Doesn't sound like an honest name to me. Move the Raider up, take a shot, put his Animus up, and see if I can hurt something. I don't think I can. The armor on all of his stuff versus shooting is just really high. I didn't put up Awakened Spirit last turn. I should have, or I should have put it up on one of these Raiders. But like I said, I'm out of practice with Skorne. Pretty hardcore. I've been playing Circle so much lately. Getting back into the Empire, though. I've been doing some Fist of Halak plotting and planning with a friend of mine from Slovakia. And he's given me some good advice. He didn't tell me to play this this Zaal monstrosity that I have here, though. This is all of my own and Commissar Pokey's doing. I think Pokey just wanted to see me have to fumble around with this mess for a few turns, getting pummeled by giant clocks or whatever the hell these things are. There goes my little puppies. They're going to be a puppy pack over there in the corner, lined up and ready to go. I don't think he will move Axiom up because I'm going to try to jam the hell out of him as best I can. I think he's made a mistake in that with him up against that objective and all of his infantry kind of jammed right up in front of him, Axiom's just going to have to sit there and shoot. And if all he's doing is shooting and dragging a few models here and there, I have no problem letting him do that all game. I think that if I can keep him out of the zone or keep most of his models out of the zone on his turn here, and he's not gonna, and he doesn't score. I don't think he's going to be able to score this turn on his turn. I think on my turn too, I'm going to start scoring, and it may turn into a snowball effect for him here. I don't think he's going to have a chance to catch up with my scoring. His army seems to be kind of jammed up pretty far back. Slingers are going to town, doing a little bit of damage here, a little bit of damage there. Going to corrode a bunch of his dudes. That's my plan. Can't do a lot to them, but I can do one. If they don't if they don't clear the corrosion off on his turn. This is a lot of shooting. It eats up a lot of clock. I need to seriously reconsider a list like this. I'd never play this list in a tournament, but what the hell? It's fun. I can see that Zaadesh might have some legs with these Reptile Hounds. I started thinking about the kind of damage he can do, and with the gang fighting or whatever that, and the spell that he has that makes his dudes hit better and harder, combined with the gang off of the Reptile Hounds that they have from themselves, and a last stand, and maybe under Zaadesh's feet or Zaal's feet. Zaadesh is already trying to usurp the army, it sounds like, but under Zaal's feet, these little guys can put out a serious whooping. I don't think I'd want to be on the receiving end to having to take that kind of stuff. Brute's going to get brave and walk up here. Try to get some shield guards off, maybe make Axiom drag him instead. I've positioned him so that if Polar Bear Cub doesn't move Axiom and shoots him and tries to drag him, he's going to drag him right into that obstacle or that objective, and he's not going to be able to get him past the objective, so he probably won't be in reach of Axiom, which will give me another turn of standing in his way, messing up his plans. Hakaar goes in, chops up some guy. He's just there to be turned into the Kovaas, and hopefully I can get into those foundries or whatever they're called that are collecting all those souls and spitting out more dudes with Kovaas if he kills them, and maybe kill one of those and cut down on his recursion a little bit. Just moving dudes a little forward here, counting up the fury. The Agonizer's not going to be able to get far enough, I think, to affect Axiom, but he's going to be able to affect the other Jack, I believe. As long as I don't screw it up and forget to give him fury. I've done that a few times. Here goes the old man. He's pretty safe back there. There we go. I filled him up. Not sure I'm going to do anything else with the old man's fury. It's I don't know what these Convergence dudes can do, so I kind of want to keep myself alive and safe, and with 3 or 4 transfers, I'm fairly safe, I think.
Alright, so for the first round, actually I guess beginning of round 2, I lost 2 Reciprocators. Not absolutely terrible, you know, considering I do have Enigma Foundries. Now what I should have done is, because the Enigma Foundries has such a long command range, I should have had both Enigma Foundries take up 1 soul. What that would allow me to do is actually pop out both Reciprocators back up by moving the Enigma Foundry closest to the screen on the left side up a little bit further. And that just would have kept them in the game a lot longer, especially since the Obstructors didn't take any damage at all. I would have been good just refueling them. Unfortunately, I did not do that. Not necessarily saying that cost me a game, but that is a lot of tech that is very good to do. Enigma Foundries are absolutely phenomenal model to have. Great recursion mechanics, probably the best in the game. So I did start with one of my Enigma Foundries, one on the other side of the Prime Axiom, which you couldn't see, and I did bring back a Reciprocator a little bit further back, so I do have a unit of 4 of them. My thought for this round is to try to clear out a lot of those Annihilators on the right side, on the left side, to kill his Ancestral Guardian over there. That will bring Kovaas back, but I figured with Kovaas coming back, not the worst thing. That model is going to come back, and since he only has Hakaar, I'm only going to have to see Kovaas once. I activated my Unit of Reciprocators. They gave themselves +2 POW, and they all walked up and they did Shield Guard, and then they started taking swings on Hakaar to try to remove him from the table. Alright, so after 4 attacks, they successfully were able to remove him. They did have Marketh's fancy little guy come out, which is always frustrating, but it needed to be done. So next what I'm doing is I'm looking at Prime Axiom and kind of just figuring out, you know, what the attack is, how hard it is going to be to hit the Cyclops. So he's a defense 15, so I boosted the hit. I needed a 10 on 3 dice. Which I was able to successfully do, caused an auto point damage, and then I dragged him in. So now he was only defense 13. What I really should have done is activated Lucant first to give myself +2 POW and attack, because I ended up missing my free strike. Well, the free strike I could get after the drag. So now I'm just looking at doing ancillary spikes shots, and then I'm kind of going back and forth. I wanted to hit him with another drag, but that really didn't work, so I was kind of looking at the Agonizer, what I could do, because the Agonizer is really going to cause a lot of heartache come the next turn, because he's just I was barely out of the Agonizer's range, so that's why Prime Axiom was able to get that focus that turn. I think I was half an inch out. So pretty much for the rest of this, I try to take the rest of my attacks onto the on the Cyclops by spinning the rest of my focus, but I miss every single one of my attacks. I think I was 1 short almost every single time. So next what I did is I activated the Inverter, and he walked kind of right up there. I wanted to take 1 swing at the Cyclops to knock him down, but he couldn't be knocked down. I was able to do a good amount of damage, probably strength 20. It still was gonna hurt him. And then I just took my chain attack, my swing on one of the Annihilators, and was able to remove him from the table. So next what I did is I activated my Obstructors. They walked up going into shield wall formation. And again, I was just looking at trying to remove, one or two more of the Annihilators. Because my thought is that if I shield wall and then I'm going to be popping my feet at the end of this turn to bump up the armor. The Obstructors will be armor 22. The Reciprocators armor 24, Prime Axiom armor 24, and the Inverter armor 23. One thing I did not do for 2 rounds now is drop the pod for the Prime Axiom. That's something that I forget a lot. It's a really good ability. For some reason, it's very easy to forget. There's a lot of times that could be really useful, either dropping a Reflex Servitor to charge into a unit. One would have been very good, charging into those Annihilators to blow a lot more of them up, or dropping an Attunement Servitor to increase my, effective mat or wrap by 2. But I just did not think about doing it. So Lucant had activated, Lucant popped feet. I did not do anything else afterwards, just kept my focus.
Well, here we go. Skorne, turn 3. He didn't get enough stuff in the zone to keep me from scoring. I'm going to easily be able to score at least 1 point, probably 2 if I can get Zaal safely into the leftmost zone. He did put a hurting on my Annihilators, but I still got 6 of them left. That should be plenty to hurt these guys in front of them. Get up there and berserker on them. I don't think one of the I got messed up with my Fury calculations. I left the Fury on one of the puppies, and he goes and beats up his buddy. And then he hurt him pretty good. Kovaas is going to go get back into his support if I can. I'm not going to be able to charge anything because I don't have a line of sight to any stuff back there, but I can move. I thought about doing an Ashen Cloud or whatever that his Zaal or Kovaas' special ability back in the bag, but I think just going back there and threshing and see if I can kill some stuff and discomfort him a little. I wouldn't mind staying in his back behind his lines with magical weapons, but without, with incorporeal. But I think he's got enough magical weapons back there that it probably wouldn't be a very long stay. The Brute's kind of in a dangerous spot, so I got to figure out some way to keep him from dying again. My plan to make Axiom bounce him into the objective worked. He was just outside of reach after being dragged in, and so unless my opponent moves Axiom this next turn, he's not going to be able to attack him again. Just shoot him. I think the Jack that's sitting next to him can probably beat him down without much help from Axiom, though. There goes Kovaas. He got to some guys, but didn't do a whole lot to them. I think I might last stand these Slingers and try to get 1 or 2 of those guys. Get at least the guy that's towing the zone out of the zone so that I can score points. I don't know what I'm killing back there. I just got him to a support. As I said earlier, I don't know these Convergence models yet by sight, so I'm kind of just winging it, killing the stuff that's got the coolest looking model, I guess, or the ones that are looking at me funny at the moment. The Foundry, I'm not sure which one is the Foundry. I probably should learn that. It might help out a little bit. My plan usually is just to avoid factions that I don't know yet when I play in tournaments. Convergence and to a certain degree Retribution I still don't play a whole lot against. There's not a lot of those in our meta, and they're hard to get games versus to practice. I did just buy myself a new Signar army, so I'm going to get some practice against those dudes. There's not a lot of Signar playing in our meta either. we're kind of overrun by Minoth. They're everywhere. Shoot, 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 shoot. Corrode, corrode, corrode. Doesn't do a whole lot. I changed my mind about charging those guys with my slingers. I'm going to do that next turn, maybe. Lots of dice rolling for not much effect. I hit a bunch of things, didn't do any damage. They're already corroded, so it doesn't do much good to corrode them again. Raider's going to take a shot at one of his little guys back there. Maybe peel something off. Can boost the hit and damage. Missed though, or didn't do anything. Gonna run across the front of his army here. Jam those guys out of the zone again if I can. And give him some free strikes. Take me down. He does. But we're tough. Strong. Strong like bull. Or Titan or whatever. We are from Skornopolis, so we gotta be a little bit tough. I can't imagine the childhood you would have living in Skornopolis. Counting up my fury, moving my pain givers around to fix all my problems. Not going to get the old man in the zone this time. I think I jammed myself out. But I will score 1 point. There's too many big scary monstrosities that can get to him. Can't let him get a shot on me. Can't let that jack over there trample or whatever and get to me. So I think he's safe right where he is. Marketh's going to run around over there and hide too. I'm going to pass the dice. I'm pretty happy with 1 point.
Alright, so for my turn 3, I'm kind of frustrated that I didn't move those Reciprocators up a little bit more. If he was a millimeter closer in, he'd be able to have contested that point, contest that zone, so I would not be down 1 control point right now. But now my thoughts is to get rid of that Agonizer so the Prime Axiom can get his focus back, and therefore really start doing some more stuff this turn. So first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the Obstructors. They're going to get the order to shield wall again, and they're going to start walking up to try to get rid of the one Annihilator that's closest to the zone on the left, as well as tow a little bit into that zone, as well as that other Obstructor that's a little bit further out. He's going to try to get rid of that Annihilator that's close to the Inverter. The thought of that is so I can get up far enough just to have a good clear line for the Inverter to be able to get the Agonizer. Unfortunately, that did fail, so I'm not going to be able to do that. So that's the Obstructors kind of just tag team to get rid of that Annihilator. So I'm just kind of looking at my control area with Lucant. My thought is that I need to get Lucant close to the Inverter to get positive charge on him so that he can get the additional attack and damage, since I'm not going to be able to give him focus, because I need to do anything possible to get rid of that Agonizer this turn. He's already caused me enough heartache as it is. So I moved my Enigma Foundry, ran him over to the side to get closer to the Obstructors. I moved my Optifex Directive out of the way, and then I activated Lucant, walked him up. He cast a positive charge on the Inverter, spinning 2 focus. Next I cast 2 more to cast positive charge on the Prime Axiom as well, because you can never have too much positive charge. And then I ended his turn. Right now I'm rolling for Corrosion on the Reciprocators because I forgot to do that last turn. I think all 3 of them took a point of damage. Nothing too bad, but it's always something. One of them did die from the corrosion, unfortunately, so that does bring me back down to 3 Reciprocators. So what I did next is I activated the Inverter. He walked up, he took a free strike from the Cyclops, but no damage done. And then with a mat 8, he rolls needing a 5 to hit the baby. I hit, and it was Power Plus Strength 19, rolling 2d6. I was able to successfully remove him, thus allowing my focus to start coming back. His last swing was on one of the Annihilators that was just close in the way. Figured might as well do a swing on him. I did successfully hit him, and I removed him. It's 1 less model. It's going to be able to damage my beautiful Reciprocators. So next I needed to get rid of Kovaas. So Prime Axiom, well, first the Corollary activated. He gave Prime Axiom 3 focus. Then Prime Axiom took a swing on Kovaas, not needing a whole lot to hit him, which successfully hit him. Power Plus Strength 22, just wiped him off the table. The next swing went on to the Cyclops Brute. I did miss that one. I bought a second attack, missed. Third attack, finally hit, doing a pretty good amount of damage. And then the final attack hit as well. Still leaving him with some health boxes, not a terrible amount left, which I was kind of hoping the Reciprocators could finish up. The Enigma Foundry activated, brought back a Reciprocator full health, and then I activated them. I moved 2 of them into the zone, giving the shield wall order. And then the other 2 walked up, gave them +2 POW against for damage rolls. The 2 activated to try to take out the Cyclops. After it was all said and done, he still had 2 or 3 health left. And then the other Reciprocators removed that Annihilator. And that was my turn.
Got somebody in the zone. Kept me from getting another point. I mean, it was pretty impossible for him not to give me another point. Now I'm at last stand of the little slinger dudes. I'm just trying to kill. I've got to kill 2 guys to clear the zone. So it's possible, but probably not with not with slingers. Trying to melee them. I put a little bit of damage on one of them. A little bit of damage on both of them. Got 2 more guys to go too, so that I may be able to get them out of there. That did 4, I believe. Wow, these guys are doing some work. Good dice rolls help. I think I might be able to kill that objective. Get a... I don't know if I want to kill this objective. It's keeping my brute safe. Maybe he might kill the objective. These slingers are putting a hurting on the jack too. Last Stand is such a good spell. It turns anything into a killer. It's got lots of really tough models in there. I do like the way his army looks. They look a lot better in person than they do here on this screen. The resolution is not good enough really to pick up all the little nice paint jobs. And I do like these mats. I don't remember where Pokey got them from, but they're very nice mats. The company that produces these produces several different versions. There's this one, a city one, a forest one, and I think a swamp looking thing. I like this one quite a bit, and I like the forest one quite a bit. Have a little less use than for the city one. Pondering, do I launch the puppy attack, the puppy assault to clear the zone? I think I might be able to get the zone cleared with Zaadesh and a puppy. And I think I might need to. I want to get 2 points this turn. I can probably do it without losing a puppy. That was a little premature with Marketh. There we go. Zaal is going to step up and toe the zone, just touching it. To if I can clear this out, I can get my points. Marketh's going to charge in there, beat on stuff. I'm just playing silliness right now, doing silliness right now of last standed Marketh, and just trying to get the last guy out of the zone there so that I can take these 2 control points. And I don't think he's in. And look at Marketh go. He put some whooping on those 2 boys. That way it leaves the puppies and Zaadesh free in case something really big comes over here to threaten my my little fortress. I think I may have the game under control now. He can kill some stuff. He's got a jack there that can trample around maybe, but I didn't give him any place to land with the jack that he can hurt my guy. That he can reach, I think. Taking a few shots here and there. Passing the dice, taking my 2 control points for a total of 3. We'll see what it can do. If he doesn't get me out of this zone this turn, he's in trouble.
Alright, so for turn 4, what I decided to do is I need to get Lucant into that zone. So the big things I need to do in order to get Lucant in the zone was I had to pull that other Cyclops out of the way. I also need to get some of my Reciprocators into the other zone and try to contest. And if I can get Lucant in there, I could dominate, hopefully dominate for the 2 rounds. And if my guys would succeed back onto my turn, I needed my Reciprocators to live, then I would be able to hopefully win on scenario. Other than that, I didn't see a whole lot. Zaal was way too far away, so I was not going to be able to do anything there. So luckily with the last stand, that did remove a lot of his models, so I did have a chance hopefully to be able to remove enough and to keep that staying power. I would need 3 in there, but also I had to get rid of the other Cyclops as well, the Cyclops Brute that's been in my way this entire time. It's not really been doing damage to me, but just been a real nuisance. I didn't allocate any focus and I dropped Watcher. Watcher really hasn't been able to work for me, as well as just the only model that I got close enough, I did not use it. so therefore my Watcher actually never worked. So I just decided to drop because I was going to try to camp as much focus on me as possible. So the Enigma Foundry activated, brought back one Reciprocator, so I was back up to 3. They got the ordered shield wall, and then they moved, 2 of them moved into the zone, and then they started swinging on the Cyclops, finally removing him afterwards. There was 1 swing left, which I did on the Annihilator that was over in the corner there. And Tough Check did not work, so he was gone as well. So next my Obstructors activated. They got the order to shield wall again, and they walked up. I was going to be 5 attacks onto the Annihilator. What I could have done was activate the Enigma Foundry first, but I didn't. It really wouldn't have done too much since there was only 1 model, or 2 models I was going to have to deal with, so I figured that with all the attacks I'd be pretty good at getting rid of those 2 Annihilators. Especially with combined melee. He was knocked down, so that was kind of frustrating because I did not remove him completely. Next I activated Lucant. Lucant ran and towed right into the zone with 7 focus on him, so he was armor 23, so I figured he'd be good. Afterwards the Corollary activated, and he walked up so he could be right between Lucant and Prime Axiom, and loaded Prime Axiom up with 3 focus. Prime Axiom activated. He was my hope was to pull in that Cyclops and possibly even do some damage to him. I was kind of looking at where he would move to and all that stuff. Because I wanted to pull him in and possibly do some damage, but that objective was just a little bit too big, so I wasn't going to be able to. And we were kind of just right here discussing about where the drag lane would be. It does go to the center, so it does unfortunately limit a lot. So I did an Ancillary Spike, and I shot at my own Obstructor that was in my way. I needed to get him out of the way. After 3 shots, actually, I finally was able to. And then next what I did was I did the drag. I boosted the hit roll. Standing still, I only needed an 8, but I really want to make sure I got that in so he would get out of the zone. So he moved right into that base to base, and just double checking just to make sure it was not able to attack him at all. So Prime Axiom with the last spike shot, he shot at one of the hounds, Reptile Hounds, and drug him in, was successfully able to hit him, and with the melee attack, Power Strength 20, and wiped him right off the table. Next, the Inverter activated. He walked up. Now what I should have done is walk far enough to be able to tow into the zone to have just extra support. So I rolled against the Krea, the knockdown, and was able to knock down the Krea. Activated the and then pretty much swung, did a little bit of damage onto his beast, but nothing too much, just really trying to just stop them another way to get into the zone. Afterwards I activated my Enigma Foundry, and that was my turn.
Despite my deep misgivings about this matchup, I think Tony made a big mistake there by not getting that Jack into the zone, into his rightmost, my leftmost zone there, the one on the top of the screen. He's got 3 control points, but I can just run something over there and contest it. And he's got 2 control points. And I've got 3 over here, all I got to do is get rid of 2 guys, and I should be able to do that. He has unleashed the power of the puppy. Zaadesh is about to go lay some whooping down. He killed one of the puppies. I think he killed Mr. Pink. And Mr. Pink well, he's not the most likable of the puppies. He's one of the pack. And they're going to go get some back. I think all I really need to do is kill the 2 dudes that are towing in that zone there, and just turn the clock over, and I'm done. This Lucant list is scary as hell. I mean, it's got a huge amount of armor, and it hits pretty hard. It ignores a lot of the defensive tech that Skorne has with these chain weapons reaching over shield walls. But I'm not playing any shield wall units in this list. I'm just thinking of other future good list matchups like Fist of Halak and that kind of thing. The ability to drag and to ignore shield wall can be a little scary. I'm not sure how that matchup would go with Fist of Halak. It does have a lot of beef for him to chew through. Okay, Zaadesh puts a couple of pretty big hits on this guy himself. He's got his little spell that makes my battle group hit a little bit better, a little bit harder. It's kind of like gang. And combined with these puppies having gang, makes it kind of rough on anything that tries to get in their way. They carry a pretty big bite. They kind of bite out of their weight class. There we go. That's the game pretty much there. I can just say good game. Took 1 puppy and Zaadesh to clear the zone. Thanks for another game. See you guys later.